On August 27, 2000, a tragic and horrifying event unfolded in the skies above Lake Erie that would come to be remembered as one of the deadliest skydiving accidents in history. The catastrophe claimed the lives of 10 people, 9 skydivers and a pilot, shattering lives, shocking the skydiving community, and prompting a painful reevaluation of safety procedures and aircraft maintenance standards. This was the Lake Erie disaster, a moment frozen in time that would leave an unforgettable scar on the world of aviation and extreme sports. It all began as a beautiful Sunday morning, the skies largely clear and weather conditions ideal for skydiving. The aircraft involved was a Beechcraft King Air, a twin-turboprop plane that had made countless skydiving trips before. Operated by Skydive Erie, a well-known skydiving business located in Pennsylvania near the shores of Lake Erie, the plane was carrying a group of experienced skydivers. Most were regulars, some instructors, and all were excited for yet another high-adrenaline jump. The plan was simple and routine. The aircraft would climb to approximately 10,500 feet, at which point the jumpers would exit the plane and descend gracefully with their parachutes, landing on a designated drop zone near the lake. On board that fateful flight were 10 individuals, 9 skydivers and 1 pilot. Most were in their late 20s or early 30s, filled with excitement and trust in the routine that had become second nature to them. Each had done dozens, if not hundreds, of jumps. Among the passengers was 26-year-old instructor Scott Shreves, a local skydiving legend known for his cool demeanor and expert knowledge. There was also 30-year-old Tim Long, who was a tandem instructor planning to do a recreational jump with friends that day. The pilot, 41-year-old William P. McCloy, had experience flying skydivers and was familiar with the King Air's characteristics. Nothing appeared to be out of the ordinary as the aircraft lifted off around 1:30 p.m. As the Beechcraft ascended into the sky, everything seemed routine. Communications between the pilot and ground control were normal. Observers on the ground watched the plane rise and prepared to observe the skydivers as they made their descent. But what they saw next was not the familiar sight of parachutes blooming in the sky. It was something far more terrifying. The aircraft suddenly entered a steep nosedive. Within seconds, the plane was spinning uncontrollably, plummeting from the sky at an alarming rate. No distress call was sent out, and there was no warning. Moments later, the King Air slammed into the waters of Lake Erie, just offshore from the town of Erie, Pennsylvania. A massive splash and a plume of smoke marked the location of the crash. Rescue efforts were immediate. The Coast Guard, local law enforcement, and volunteer divers rushed to the crash site in hopes of finding survivors. Boats scoured the lake, and helicopters hovered above. Divers descended into the murky water, battling poor visibility and heavy currents. But hopes for survival quickly faded. All 10 occupants of the aircraft had perished on impact. The wreckage was found in several pieces, scattered across the lakebed, and bodies were recovered in the days following the crash. While skydiving remains inherently risky, the Lake Erie disaster marked a turning point in how those risks are managed. It reinforced the idea that thrill-seeking does not have to come at the cost of human lives, so long as safety is prioritized and complacency is never allowed to take root. The legacy of those who died in the disaster lives on in the thousands of safe jumps that now occur each year thanks to improved practices born from tragedy. But the story of the Lake Erie crash is more than just a case study in aviation failure. It is a deeply human story. It's the story of friends who boarded a plane together expecting a shared adventure. It's the story of a pilot who took to the skies with confidence in his aircraft. It's the story of families left with nothing but memories, photos, and unanswered questions. It's a story of a community forced to confront the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of fate. Years after the tragedy, the wreckage remains at the heart of many safety seminars and aviation training sessions. The accident has become a haunting example of what happens when oversight fails, when even the most experienced professionals are undone by mechanical neglect. And yet, from that dark moment arose a renewed commitment within the skydiving and aviation communities to do better, to fly safer, and to never again allow preventable tragedies to unfold. The Lake Erie skydiving disaster is often remembered with a mix of pain and purpose. Pain for the loss of life and purpose in ensuring that their deaths were not in vain. It stands as a chilling warning and a powerful motivator. In the skydiving world, where risk is part of the thrill, it serves as a stark reminder that safety is never optional and that every jump begins long before the plane leaves the ground. with checklists, inspections, and a duty of care to the people who trust their lives to both pilot and machine. Though more than 2 decades have passed, the emotional weight of that day has not lifted. Each year, on the anniversary of the crash, families gather quietly along the shores of Lake Erie. Some bring flowers. Others bring folded parachutes that will never again open. The sound of waves gently hitting the rocks is sometimes interrupted by the roar of a passing plane, a haunting echo of what once was. But amidst the silence, there is also resolve. A resolve to remember, a resolve to protect, a resolve to honor the lives lost not by fear, but by flying smarter, checking harder, and never forgetting the lessons paid for with the ultimate price. In the end, the Lake Erie disaster remains a harrowing tale, not just about a crash, but about the interconnected nature of passion, precision, and the value of life. Those 10 individuals who took to the skies that day were not just names in a report. They were dreamers, adventurers, mentors, and friends. If this story moved you, please give this video a like, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful true stories and aviation history. Your support helps us keep these memories alive and lessons learned for future generations.